You guys already know what you're getting into, so I'm gonna start right off. The first thing that you guys need is all the different softwares. First off, you'll need Asseto Corsa. You also want Content Manager, which is this third-party launcher, which allows us to do most of the stuff that we need. Then you'll need Inkscape or like something like Illustrator. I use Inkscape because for one, it's free, and also like the I like the user interface a lot better. Then I'm assuming most of you have this in internet browser, so you can search for like livery or not liveries, search for sponsor logos or whatever. And then the last thing you need because, or this is for if you're using Inkscape, you want Paint.net, which is um, similar to Photoshop, but we're only going to be using it to turn a PNG into a DDS file, which is what Assetto Corsa uses for its liveries. First thing we need to do is pick our car. I've picked out the Ford GT40. Um, you want to right click the car, open car and content tab, um, click folder and content manager showroom, which I have already opened. In the folder, you want or in the when you press folder, it'll go into this file path. You want to double click skins, right click, and make a new folder with the livery name. I've named it tutorial because that's what it is. The first thing you want to do, if we're going to our checklist, is to get the map file. So what the map file will allow us to do, you want to go over to, or you want to click anywhere on the body, go over to texture diffuse, these three dots. This will drop down on calculate AO map, and then sometimes the dimensions will not be fully square. So if you can either just click calculate AO, and I think it'll just do the base dimensions, or if you want it to be a higher resolution, which is what I usually like having, you do calculate map of custom size, and then just do like a multiple of the x and then a multiple of the y, and then it should be fine. I will just be doing 1024 by 1024 since this is not a big deal for me. Then we wait for it to render, which depending on the car and depending on the dimensions is going to take either not too long or take a really long time. Then once it is done rendering, you want to go to the save icon down here, um, skins, our livery that we made, and make sure to save it as a PNG because Inkscape does not accept DDS files. So save that. We can close that there, close that there. Now we need to open Inkscape. That's opening. Another thing I would recommend doing is when you're in your skins, right click the folder and then pin to quick access so you can go over to here and now just and then be able to quickly go over there. So once you're in this menu, click browse for other files, home, and then it'll go through all your quick access, tutorial. Generally, for the image rendering, I do blocky because it's a bit easier to interpret when you're like really going like when doing really close details. Click OK. And then immediately before you do anything, you want to save it as an SVG. Now that we have it like this, Um, we're gonna add a new layer, lock the first layer, and make the blend mode of the entire layer to multiply. So now, if we bring this up, put just anything up here, do Control and S, it'll add it there. One thing that is a bit tricky um, is sometimes uh, text will be weird, but if you um, on this side panel right here, if you click this down arrow, go to go to the export tab. Make sure it's on page, not document, because if it's on document, then if you have anything like out here, then it'll include that and it'll screw it up. Because if you see if I export this, it's now all screwy and it's not working. So that's why page, export, and now the text is working properly. So going back to the checklist, we have the map file and all of our software. And this spreadsheet will be shared in the description of the video. The next thing we want to do is get the base color down. For me, it's usually either just white or black. But for the purposes of this video, let's go with something like a deep blue. Save that. See how that looks. It looks pretty good. So that is now base color checked off. And then the way I got the base color down is I just click the rectangle tool. Make sure that my snap was either to or for the base color can be any three of these. You can have them enabled, but add that enabled, and then just drag from one end to the other, and that's it. And because it's on this layer up here with the blend mode to multiply, you can still see what's under it. If it was on normal, it's just blue square, and or with the way that the SVG works, it doesn't affect on the on the um, on the preview whether or not stuff like that is happening. But once we go to export it, you will see that it darkens significantly and adds more detail. That's just a tiny quirk with how the program works. But the next thing we can do is our color blocking, which is you can take either rectangle tool like any of these tools from the pen tool, the rectangle tool. My most uses the pen tool because it allows you to easily do curves like this. So if I do something like that, then go to the center like that. This is why we set the PNG to blocky so we can like easily go into the center of stuff. And then you can change this to let's just go with the yellow here. And if we don't want this weird bit right here, we can go up here, this selected thing. Now it's not like that anymore. So we can see how that looks by saving it. I don't like the way that looks, but we'll just have to go with it. Let's say we do more of that. We've got our color blocks on. Next thing we want to do is our racing number. I'm not going to tell you what racing number to use. I use number 19. The way this font works, I don't like the way, like how much it's spaced out, so I can go to spacing. By the way, the shortcut to access the text is T, or you can just go to the sidebar and click the text tool. And if you don't like the spacing of it, you can click spacing, go over here, and let's just make that. That's not what I wanted, but see, -10 was a bit much. You go -8. That looks perfect. So now we can rotate it 90 degrees that way using these two buttons up here. And there's also the um, flip horizontal buttons. And we can set our snapping to alignment to center this in the center. Let's do a citizen white. Now when we save it, yeah, the text is screwy, so go to export, export as a PNG. We have there. Still doesn't look good, but I'm not going to bother with making it too perfect. And then you can, you know, copy and paste it around, um, rotate 180 degrees. You're gonna tell this probably isn't gonna look very good, but oh yeah, it looks really bad. But I'm sure you get the idea. So now we have our color blocking and our erasing numbers. Actually, let's go back to color blocking because when I say, hey, that's not symmetrical, but we can do the shortcut Control and D to duplicate it. Let's just drag under the rest of the text, and then make sure it's not set to multiply. Flip it vertically, and then press Control and then drag it down, setting the snapping to nodes. And then now that these are connected, you can save it again. Now it looks like this. Still doesn't look very good, but I'm not bothered with that right now. Next thing up is sponsors. Uh, I usually keep the same sponsors, so usually I'll just go to File, Open Recent, um, just whatever the last livery I had, which happens to be not that one, this one. So I can take this, copy it over, and then that, copy it over. This is the badge that I use for a lot of my liveries. So I can just center this, put it down there, save it, see how it looks. Kind of crappy. I'd probably shrink that down a bit, but not worried about that right now. Keep this over to the side, duplicate it, bring it over, shrink down to size, where this door card is, save it, look at it, then, or say, Yeah, I don't really like that much, so we can increase the size a bit. Save it. Look at it. Say, all right, that looks good. And that is now sponsors done. Um, Additionally, you can go to your search browser, and then let's say I want to put like Domino's Pizza. So we can search Domino's Pizza PNG. Go to the tools, size, or color, transparent just to make sure. Pick whatever logo you want. Right click, open image in new tab. I don't trust that. Uh, there you go. Open image in new tab. Copy image. Because this if you just right click here and copy, that won't be the full resolution, so you have to open the image in the new tab, then copy it. Go over to Inkscape, copy it over, shrink it down to size, and then place it wherever. And then check it out. Looks horrible, but yet again, this is a tutorial on how to make liveries look good. It's a tutorial on how to make liveries. So now we have our masterpiece over here. I'm going to do one last export to PNG, and now we can close all the Inkscape tabs we have open. Next, we're going to go back to our File Explorer, right-click our PNG. We're going to open it with paint.net. We're not really going to do anything in here aside from File, Save As, Direct Draw Surface, Save, and then just use these settings, which I'm pretty sure the main things that are not the default is this setting and this setting, so make sure it's that BC7 and bicubic. Press OK. And that's all you need. Now, or if you want to save a bit of space, or like if you're using this for like a league race and you don't want to be using up too much space, or me personally, I would make a second tutorial. I'd make a second tutorial skin, like wasn't that. Yeah, like for I made an optimized one without any of the extra stuff. It's just the DDS files. Wow, this one has like there's a PNG here, there's the SVG over here. So you would probably make a second one and also delete the SVG file. Additionally, you can also do helmet stuff, um, which the template for that, or for one of them, looks like this. The way you would do that is while you're in here, go to this tab right here, driver and crew, driver, and then you make sure to click this back arrow. Click until you get the helmet, texture diffuse, and then just go through the same exact process as we did for delivery. And that works for like let's say you want to make the windshield wiper different for some reason. Click that you get this. You want to make this glass different. Again, that. It's all pretty simple. Um, yeah, that's how that works. Okay, going back to here. If all you need is this, Then go back to here. Um, that's all I need. But optionally, um, we can we can do some weird stuff um, by making it Chrome. So I have this config file that I just copy and paste from each from each livery to each livery. Um, I will include this in the Google Sheet, so you don't have to memorize this. But we can paste it in here, open it up, and go back to the showroom. Where we then go back to this, click on this, copy the material, and then get rid of all the remnants from the previous one, and then if you need to have multiple different materials set to this Chrome, comma space the next one. Okay, just anywhere where it says materials equals, make sure there's a space in between here like this, and then you want to save that. And then it won't show up in this, but if we close this because we don't need it anymore, with this, go to our livery icon right here, update preview. You can see it's now Chrome. Uh, we can also make our own livery icon. We can just go with what it shows us, or we can decide to make it more representative. And also, or here, let's go back here. Usually I go for condensed when it comes to the number on the livery icon. And now you'll see that got that nice reflective look on it. This yellow doesn't look very good with it. I mean the blue's looking pretty nice. And yeah, I mean yeah. And going back to our checklist, just make sure we did everything on there. We did the Chrome, livery icon, and the livery preview, and that's it. Yeah, thanks for checking this out. I'll make sure to leave this in the description, as I've said.